You know that feeling walking into a greenhouse at 8 in the morning, glass still fogged, and two flowers on the same bench look like twins. Someone has to put a name on each tag before the tour starts. Not flower, not pretty. The real name. That job is called fine grained classification, and you are going to learn how to teach a net to do it. If you only glance, you would just say orchid and you would walk away. But look closer. Which orchid is this when the cousins share color, petals, and pose? At Glasshouse Lane, orchid is not an answer. You need moth orchid, slipper orchid, dancing lady, and corsage orchid, even when a tourist swears they match. Now, you might think I will just train a net from scratch on a few hundred photos from this house. Please don't. That net would have to invent edges and veins from almost nothing, and it will guess. ImageNet already taught a big net those textures on more than 1 million everyday photos. So why start from zero? That is transfer learning. You borrow eyes that already know how to see, then you teach them the 4 names this house actually uses. We will take a ResNet50 that already trained on ImageNet, freeze it, grow a small new head for our orchids, then carefully unfreeze the last block. I will also put VGG16 on the table next to it, so you can see what changes when the backbone is simpler and hungrier. We will do this in TensorFlow and Keras, and I will talk you through every choice the way I would at a whiteboard. Picture a student who already reads English, then learns the names of 4 flowers. You do not reteach the alphabet. The early layers of ResNet50 already see edges, blobs, and petal like curves. That is the alphabet. The old ImageNet head speaks 1,000 everyday words like cat and truck. You do not need those words here. So we drop that old classifier, keep the eyes, and write a tiny new vocabulary for orchid names. Fine-grained work lives in tiny differences. A moth orchid has a broad lip. A corsage orchid has ruffled edges. Same pale face, different story. A slipper orchid hides a pouch. A dancing lady throws spotted wings. If your net only learned the word orchid, those 4 stories collapse into one stamp, and the cataloger is still lost. That is why we will not celebrate one accuracy number. We will read each class because mix up can hide in the average. ResNet50 is deep and it has skip connections. If a layer would rather pass the signal through, the skip lets it. That is why a 50-layer net can still train instead of fading into noise. VGG16 is older and plainer. It stacks 3 by 3 convolutions with no skips and it eats more memory. We will train ResNet50 first because it is kinder to a laptop GPU. VGG comes later as a second look. Here is how we will spend the morning. Load the 4 folders. Resize to 224. Nudge the photos a little. Freeze the backbone. Train the head. Then unfreeze a little with a tiny learning rate. After that we rate accuracy, a classification report, and the confusion matrix. The mix upsell is the real exam, not the applause. Your labeled folder is a small set called Glasshouse Lane. Inside it, 4 subfolders: moth orchid, slipper orchid, dancing lady, corsage orchid. Keras will turn those folder names into class IDs for you. Before you train, print a few file names. If a slipper photo sat in the moth folder, the net will learn a lie with a straight face. And keep a validation split. If the net memorizes the same 40 moth orchids, tomorrow's tags will still be wrong. Open Jupyter. The notebook is Glasshouse Lane Teal IPIMP. 1 idea per cell, the way you would teach it. First cell is just the toolkit. You import TensorFlow because that is the engine. If you have a GPU, it will use it. If you don't, the CPU still works. Then you bring in Keras. That is the friendly door. We will build the model with layers, not with raw math graphs. From layers, we will take random flip, dropout, and dense. Those are the pieces of the new head you are about to grow. You also import ResNet50 from Keras applications. That is the pre-trained backbone, not a stack you invented at midnight. And you import preprocessed input from the ResNet family. That scaling has to match how this net was trained on ImageNet, or you quietly waste the gift. NumPy is here for the numbers we will print later: predictions, confusion counts, class aids. Path is here so walking the Glasshouse Lane folder stays readable. And from Sklern you take classification report and confusion matrix, because those two reports stop you hiding behind one accuracy number. That is the whole toolkit. Everything after this is teaching the net the four names of this house. Next cell, you name the classes. The head is allowed to speak moth orchid, slipper orchid, dancing lady, corsage orchid. Four names. No background class this time, because every photo on the bench is an orchid you must name. You keep an Silases next to that list, because the dense head must output exactly this many scores. ImageNet is 224. Classic ImageNet nets expect that square, so we resize every photo to it. Detour DR points at Glasshouse Lane. If this path is wrong, every later cell fails for a boring reason, and you will think the model is broken. BATH is 32. 32 photos in one step, kinder to a laptop GPU than a giant batch, and still a real gradient. Now we load pictures the Keras way, not with a hand rolled loop. Image dataset from directory walks those four subfolders for you. The folder name becomes the class. That is the whole trick. You pass images size 220, 4 by 224, so ResNet50 never sees a random camera rectangle. Batch size is 32, so 32 images travel together, one step, one gradient. Validation.split is 0.2. 20% of the photos are the exam. The net must not practice on them. The first call uses subset training, so it takes the 80%. You set seed to 42 and you do not change it. If you shuffle differently every run, you cannot compare two training stories. Label mode is int, because our labels will be integers 0 through 3, and that pairs with sparse categorical cross entropy later. Then you call the same function again, same seed, subset validation. Same seed is the whole trick. Otherwise, train and val steal each other's photos. Print class names. Folder order becomes class ed order. If dancing lady is index 2, remember that when you read the confusion matrix. Stay with me. Next we pipe this to the GPU. Autotune lets TensorFlow pick how many batches to prepare ahead. You do not have to guess. You cache the training set, so decoded photos stay in memory after the first epoch, and disk is not the bottleneck. Then you shuffle with a buffer of 200, so the net cannot memorize folder order. Prefetch means the next batch is already loading while this one trains. The GPU should not sit idle waiting for disk. Validation gets cache and prefetch too, but you do not shuffle it. You want the same exam every epoch, or the curve means nothing. Fine grained sets are small and orchids sit at odd angles on a bench, so we augment gently. You build a tiny sequential, a horizontal flip, a little rotation, a little zoom. A left-right flip is a new photo the cataloger still accepts. The lip did not change species. The rotation is about a tenth of a turn. Enough to mimic a hand holding the pot, not enough to put the pouch on the ceiling. The zoom is a little closer, a little farther. The net should name the flower, not the exact framing of the bench. You attach this only while training. Validation photos stay honest. No costume changes on the exam. Now the model. You take ResNet50 as the backbone with ImageNet weights. Include top is false. That drops the old 1000 class stamp. You do not want cat and truck. You want a map of features. Input shape is 220. 4 by 220, 4 by 3. Color because a grey orchid hides the blush on a lip, and that blush is often the name. Pooling is average. Global average pooling turns the last map into one vector per photo without a giant flatten that overfits. Then you freeze it. Backbone. Trainable is false. A small glasshouse set cannot wreck those ImageNet eyes overnight. Think of the student who already reads. You do not rewrite their alphabet while they learn 4 new nouns. The door is a Keras input of that same square. A batch of color photos will enter here. You run preprocess input on them. This is ResNet's own scaling, not a casual divide by 255. Match the recipe or the eyes go blurry. Then you run the augment sequential, so training photos get a gentle new pose. Then you pass them through the backbone with training set to false. That keeps batch normalization in inference mode while the backbone is frozen. Quiet and important. Dropout of 0.3 sits on the head because fine-grained heads overfit if you let them cling to one lucky neuron. The last layer is dense with 4 scores and softmax. Softmax turns those 4 numbers into probabilities that add to 1. The largest is the tag you would write. You wrap it as a Keras model photo in 4 orchid scores out. Print model. Summary once. You should see a huge frozen ResNet, then a tiny trainable head. If the whole net is trainable already, you skip the freeze. Phase 1 is feature extraction. You compile with Adam at 1e-3. That learning rate is a confidence step, and that is okay because the backbone is not moving yet. You can be braver with a new head sitting on frozen eyes. The loss is sparse categorical cross entropy. Sparse means your labels are integers, not one-hot vectors. That matches label mode int. You also watch accuracy. It is a headline. We will not trust it alone, but Keras will print it each epoch so you can see the climb. Early stopping watches val loss with patience 5 and restore the best awaits true. If validation stops improving, you quit. More epochs on a tiny set is not more wisdom. Restored best awaits puts back the quietest val loss, not the last noisy epoch. Then you fit 12 epochs on the training set with validation beside it, and that early stop watching. 12 is a teaching number for the head. Watch val accuracy. If train soars and val sits, the head memorize poses, not petals. Stay with me. Phase 2 is the fine tune. We let the last block of ResNet50 move, but only a little. You set backbone. Trainable to true, then you freeze everything again on purpose, so you can open only one door. You walk every layer by name because ResNet50 is a street of blocks, not one blob. If the name does not start with conv5, you freeze that layer. Early blocks still see generic edges. Late blocks may learn orchid specific veins. conv5 is the last convolutional block. That is careful transfer. You do not unfreeze the whole mountain on a small hill of photos. Print how many variables are trainable now. If that number jumped to the whole net, you opened every door by mistake. Now compile again. This is easy to skip, and skipping it is a bug. Adam this time is 1e-5, about 100 times smaller. The backbone already knows a lot. You nudge, you do not shove. Loss and metrics stay the same. You are not changing the exam. You are changing who is allowed to study. If you forget to compile after unfreezing, Keras may keep the old learning rate, and the eyes you borrowed can smear. Then you fit again for 8 epochs, same early stop. Fine tuning can overfit faster than the frozen phase, so stop if val loss rises. Watch both curves. Train accuracy should not run away from val. If it does, raise dropout or freeze one more block. After training, evaluation is a new cell, not a victory lap. You walk the validation set once and stack the true labels. That is the truth the cataloger already wrote. Then you predict. 4 probabilities per photo. Look at one row before you trust the rest. argmax picks the class with the highest probability. That is the tag the net would write on the bench. Classification or report prints precision, recall, and F1 for each name. Precision asks of the moth orchid tags you wrote, how many were really moth orchids? Recall asks a different question. Of the real moth orchids on the bench, how many did you actually name? F1 is the blend. High precision and low recall is a shy cataloger who never risks a moth tag and misses the moths. Then print the confusion matrix. Each row is the truth, each column is the guess. Off diagonal cells are mix-ups. The cell you care about at Glasshouse Lane is moth orchid versus corsage orchid. Those two share a pale face. If that cell is fat, the net still sees orchid, not the lip. Do not hide it inside 90% accuracy. Stay with me. Now we analyze the transfer, not just the score. Plot wall accuracy from phase 1, then phase 2 as two chapters on one chart. Phase 1 should climb quickly because the head is small. Phase 2 should add a quieter gain or sometimes a small dip then a rise. If phase 2 crashes, your learning rate was too big or you unfroze too many blocks. If phase 2 does nothing, you may still be frozen or the head already hit a ceiling the data cannot beat. So here is the lesson inside the lesson. Freeze first so the gift survives. Unfreeze last so the gift can specialize. Measure the mix-up cell, not the applause. Same data, different backbone, so you know this is a recipe, not a brand. Swap ResNet50 for VGG16, still include top faults. VGG brings its own preprocess. It is not ResNet's. Mix them and you gaslight the eyes. VGG16 is hungrier for memory. Drop the batch to 16 if the GPU complains. Train the same two phases. Print the same classification report. Often ResNet50 wins on this small set because skips keep the deep features usable. VGG can still teach you the idea. This is not a brand war. Freeze, new head, tiny fine tune, then read the matrix. In this notebook, keep one idea per cell. Load, augment, freeze, fit the head, unfreeze a little, fit again. Then print the matrix. Restart and run all before leftover tensors lie to you. An old unfrozen backbone in memory is a quiet lie. Now look at the same story in Visual Studio Code in Glasshouse Lane TLPy. The Explorer on the left should show the script, the 4 photo folders, and the notebook, same names, same functions. Scroll to ImageNet dataset from directory first. If the folders are wrong, nothing below this call can save you. Then preprocess input, then freeze, then the dense head. Fit the head before you unfreeze. Look at the net. Then fit, then open one late door, not the other way around. When the tour starts at Glasshouse Lane, hang the moth-versus-corsage cell on the wall of the desk. If that cell is still fat, you are not finished, no matter how pretty the overall accuracy looks. Tomorrow a tourist will say they all look the same. You will know which lip told the truth.